The narrow alley lay swathed in ink-black shadows that pooled like spilled ink across glistening cobblestones, slick with the restless residue of an earlier rain. Above, flickering lanterns dangled from wrought iron brackets, their flame halos trembling in the cold evening breeze, casting fractured shards of golden light that wavered and danced along stone walls scarred by time. The once bustling market district was winding down, its voices and laughter slowly dwindling into a fragile hush that was swallowed greedily by the creeping darkness. A faint metallic clink echoed, a sinister whisper against the muffled rhythm of distant footsteps. Somewhere ahead, a sharp breath caught like a snapped string in her chest, tense and trembling. Her eyes narrowed, scanning the cloak of night with the flicker of instinctual suspicion. This isn't some petty thief on a drunken spree. No random mugger hunts its prey with such calculated stealth. Beneath the rising murmur of paranoia bloomed a steady pulse of resolve. Can't let this happen. From the shadows emerged a solitary figure. A boy, barely more than a child, shoulders hunched in silent terror. His wide eyes darted frantically, gleaming pools of fear that reflected a mixture of sweat and rain tracing cold rivulets down his pale face. Behind him, slinking with the predatory patience of a darkened ghost, a man's shape materialized. In his hand gleamed a wicked dagger, faintly throbbing with an eerie, poisonous magic, a dull greenish glow that seemed eager to seep, to infect, to kill unseen. The attacker's footsteps were slow and deliberate, each step pressing the moment like a blade's edge. His voice was a venomous hiss. "Your easy prey, laden with cruel certainty." Her voice cut through the damp air, sharp and commanding. "Step back. You picked the wrong target." She moved with a breathless grace, fluid as silk in midsummer breeze. There was no wasted energy, no hesitation, just the clean, precise snap of bone and muscle prepared to strike or parry on instinct alone. The attacker lunged forward, the blade swinging in a deadly arc, fast and hungry. Yet her wrist flicked upwards with effortless precision, intercepting the dagger before it could bite skin. The metal met her palm with a faint sizzle as the poison enchantment fizzled, snuffed prematurely by a silent, fierce magic buried deep within her, a power she scarcely understood but leaned on regardless. The boy's breath hitched audibly. His wide eyes locked onto hers in a fragile, flickering dance of gratitude and disbelief. "Thank you." His voice trembled, nearly swallowed by the night. "I didn't think anyone would come." It was a whisper of hope, raw and trembling. Behind them, the attacker snarled, lips curling in spiteful disgust as his shadow melted away into the labyrinth of alleys. "She's just a failed noble. Who cares about her meddling?" A bitter laugh caught in the dark, swallowed before it could echo. The warning came too late. She seized the boy's arm, pripping firmly but with careful gentleness, pulling him closer as a guardian might shield a fragile flame from the storm. Her eyes scanned the twisting maze behind them, alert and wary, a predator aware that even shadows could betray. "You're not safe here. Come," she murmured, voice low but unwavering. The boy nodded. The first flicker of trust ignited between them, temporary, fragile, but real. Later, within the sanctuary of a secluded garden courtyard hidden behind the quiet inn, the world felt suspended. Moonlight poured in silver streams, etched like delicate tattoos across the petals of blossoms and dew-kissed leaves. A gentle nocturnal hymn, the soft rustling of branches stirred by a tender night breeze, whispered stories older than kingdoms. Nearby, the crackling fire wrapped the space in a fragile warmth, chasing away the chill that seemed to cling endlessly to the air beyond the courtyard's embrace. Here, secrets weighed heavy, their truth soaking into the atmosphere like the thick scent of earth and flower. The boy sat motionless, his gaze fixed not on her, but drifting nervously toward the ageless window framed in creeping ivy. His jaw clenched in quiet tension, eyes shadowed by fear and determination in equal measure. Finally, his voice cut through the intimate silence, low and uneven, as if dredging truth from a place long buried. "I am Prince Halric," he confided, the words barely above a whisper. "Exiled, yes, but I carry knowledge, knowledge that could topple the throne." Her heart faltered, the unexpected weight of his revelation settling like a leaden anchor. A prince in hiding, she mused silently, a bitter irony twisting inside her, the chains of exile binding him not so differently from her own. For the first time, vulnerability gave way to quiet empathy, her breast hitching as she softened her tone. Then it seems we both wear masks and scars. Her voice dropped, slow and deliberate. What is it you truly want from me? He swallowed, lips moistening as if the air itself dried his throat. Safety, he said with a bare honesty that seemed to flay him raw. Allies, someone who understands what it means to be discarded by fate. A strange stillness fell between them, a fragile thread stretched taut, trembling on the cusp of breaking or binding. Slowly, deliberately, she lifted a trembling hand, small and uncertain but laden with defiance, and extended it toward him. This delicate gesture was more than an offer of alliance. It was a vow to those cruel fates that had cast them aside. His hand met hers, fingers trembling but resolute, as they closed around hers with quiet strength. The faint sigil embroidered on his sleeve shimmered faintly under the moonlight, a ghostly emblem of power, exile, and peril intertwined. For a beatheart, the world outside seemed to dissolve, leaving only two lost souls tethered together in the cool embrace of night. They found themselves in the tavern's back room, a cramped, smoky arena thick with tension and whispered conspiracies. The scent of spilled ale and extinguished embers mingled with the acrid sting of charred wood, while candlelight wavered on faces etched with lines of paranoia and desperate hope. Outside, the raucous clamor of drunken patrons filtered faintly, mocking the gravity cloaked within these four walls. "We're march now," she said, her voice lowered to a near growl, but steady, eyes burning with the cold fire of acceptance. "You with your exile, me with the villainous mark freshly branded across my name. Together, maybe we stand a chance to survive." Prince Howard gave her a dry smirk, a flash of wicked fire lighting the stormy gray depths of his eyes. "Survival is only the first step," he countered, confidence threading between his words. "Then we take back what's ours, our place, our power, our legacy." She returned his smirk with a cold, amused smile, sharp and biting. "Redemption and revenge. Strange bedfellows, aren't they?" Between them, sealed scrolls exchanged hands, delicate wax cylinders etched with the complex elder-face cipher, their lifelines carved from ancient magic and whispered secrets. As her fingers brushed against the fragile parchment, a faint shimmer pulsed beneath her touch. Echoes of past lives and forgotten truths awakened like ghosts in the dimness. A sudden creak at the tavern door wrenched their attention sharp. Eyes snapped toward the sound, muscles taut with instant readiness, breaths held in fragile synchrony, only to exhale in relief when the door slammed shut once more. In this flickering wash of muted candlelight and secrets, their alliance was forged, not in grand gestures, but in the silent acknowledgement of mortal peril shared, two shadows entwined by necessity and fragile trust. Back inside her modest chamber, rain tapped against the window pane with a steady, rhythmic melody, each drop like a tender sigh that pressed gently against the walls. The scent of damp earth and old books filled the small, warmly lit room, heavy with shadows that seemed to listen. With the quiet sigh, she reached beneath her pillow and pulled out a worn, faded tome. Its leather binding cracked softly as she opened it, the gilded cover shimmering faintly with sigils that pulsed like a heartbeat beneath her fingers. That ancient parchment smelled sharply of forgotten magic, secrets folded between every brittle page. Her voice broke the silence, raw and tremulous, with long-held admissions. "I wasn't always like this." She swallowed, pain threading through the words. "In another life, I was someone else, someone who doomed herself. That's why they call me a failure." Prince Halrich's eyes widened, flickering shadows playing across his face as the weight of that confession settled between them. "A doom flag?" he asked softly, as if tasting the bitterness of the phrase for the first time. She nodded, the movement slow and deliberate, like fate's cruel script etched across me, unrelenting and merciless, and I need allies if I'm to survive the rewriting. His voice lowered to a whisper, heavy with understanding and fierce hope. "Then let this alliance be our chance to break the narrative."
their eyes locked in quiet communion, a flickering flame amidst gathering darkness, each recognizing the scars they hid behind carefully crafted facades. The shadows in the room seemed to elongate and deepen, stretching long fingers that hinted at the uncertain and perilous road ahead. Yet now, neither walked alone.
Beneath the city's beating heart, hidden beneath the ancient stone bones of an old library, a secret sanctuary breathed with tension and purpose. Thick wooden tables bore sprawling maps, layers thick with ink that glowed faintly with enchanted hues, tracing hidden alliances, betrayals, and the unseen fault lines of a kingdom on the brink. Faint sparks leapt from flickering candles, contested by the gentle luminescence of magical crystals, humming softly in a symphony of secret power. "We learn everything," she said, voice sharp with conviction as her fingers traced the convoluted routes and markings etched onto parchment. "Alliances, weaknesses, betrayals. Knowledge will be our sword and shield." Howrick's eyes gleamed darker, alive with the cold calculation of a predator sizing his prey. "I have contacts loyal to the crown, even if dangerous. Useful ones. Those who can move shadows in the right places." She straightened, drawing in a steadier breath filled with resolve, tempered by the iron chill of inevitability. "Then let's sharpen our blades in darkness before the stage is set." Closing her eyes, she summoned a power both forbidden and familiar. A faint shimmer blossomed behind her eyelids. No window of glowing stats, but pure vision. Flickering threads of enemy movements, alert statuses, and whispered magical wards unfolded like a spectral tapestry within her mind. Beside her, the prince activated a crystal orb, its surface rippling as encrypted messages pulsed for it into the invisible networks threading through the city's underbelly. Her thoughts tightened with grim determination. Next up, the Gala, a grand stage set for bent blades, whispered lies, and promises meant to shatter. In this dim sanctuary of flickering candlelight and whispered conspiracies, two forsaken souls prepared their fragile rebellion, ready to confront the iron grip of fate itself.